and I would sit generally.
Yeah, me too.
So to open up the shoulder, a lot of times what I do, because when people lay down, their shoulder blades separate a little bit. You can see your shoulders are kind of forward and in. So to open up the pecs, I'll bring my hand straight down from her shoulder, like from kind of underneath here, and I just sweep it under. And what I'm doing is moving her shoulder blade. I'm changing it from this to this.
It looks very different from her other one.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and people love it too because they feel it. They're like, oh, it really feels like it opens up. And so pecs attach everywhere. So a lot of the times I'll start with the collarbone, doing little sweeping motions, and you got to be careful with pecs because they are fiery. They hurt, and when they hurt intensely. So it's like hot and searing. Like rub on yourself sometime, like right on your collarbone and stuff like that, right up here. Oh man, it's like yow.
It's like someone stabbing.
Exactly. So you want to be fairly careful. You know, what would be mild on their back is going to be moderately deep on their pecs. And you can already see that she's got some flush going on. And a lot of you girls were asking about breasts and stuff and how you work past them. I've noticed now that I'm doing it and it's just sort of habit. Even if I'm not pushing it out of the way, I've created that barrier with my hand. So I'm working here, and if I want to move, I can, and I'm just sort of pushing it out of the way. And it's surprising how much it will move. Be aware that that's tender, so you don't want to be so focused on your work that you're just like and jamming it out of the way. That's uncomfortable, but you can get to a lot of places. And I sort of do, same as with the back, I will go out the sides and down the middle a little bit, really getting the sternum and where all those muscles connect, because they connect here, and then they connect kind of like up under here. So come out to the side, get a lot here. I try and follow the feeling of the ribs. You can feel the ribs underneath there, so try and go with them. That's going to be also generally the direction of the fibers, and you want to make sure, especially in a really tender area, that you're going with the fibers. So this is pec minor that comes across and attaches up here. You can get all of those areas. A great way to do deep tissue to start it is flush the muscle and start with all attachment points. So start where it attaches here, start where it attaches here, give a little rub where it attaches out on the shoulder. Then you've kind of primed the muscle to be ready to receive the deeper tissue work.
Sterling, I now have a good example of good kind of pain.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to find one.
Up here you've got your pec minor. That's the one that you can really feel when dudes make their pecs jump. Usually that's what they're doing it with. Pec major is a little harder to get to, and that's when moving the breast tissue out of the way is going to come into play again. You're going to kind of come from the side, and you can push up, because pec major is going to be more underneath. And I actually do that one to keep the breast tissue out of the way. I push toward it, so I'm not pulling at what I'm trying to push out of the way. And this one goes all the way up under, like for you ladies over here, I'm like all the way up under here. You're almost in armpit. And if you want to, and if you can, go ahead and pop that underneath your head for me. You can do like that. That helps you to undrape a little bit more of that armpit area. I'm sure there's a better word for that, like clinical term. Your pits.
Is it axillary?
Yes. Good job. Axillary. But you can get, again, a little better up in there because now you've opened up that fossa, that area. Oh, I'll make you stop laughing. But all along the side and like where it kind of, where the ribs would be, where the boning for your underwire bra would come up, is going to have a lot of connection points. It's right there on your ribs. And so that's you're going to find a lot of little knots and stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Not laughing anymore. But this posture also allows you to do a little bit of petrissage and lift that muscle up off. You were the worst stomach ever. I don't remember this. And if it gets real bad, and if you're doing like, you might be able to see it in the amazing shoulder poster that's over there, but where pec major attaches is really inside here. So you can, if your partner is willing, feel around in there and have them tell you, like, you can refer pain to people's shoulder blades by pushing directly into their armpit because there's just a whole lot of crisscross that happens right there. So when you open up that axillary, you can get kind of underneath and into the joint this way. Okay. But I was telling
so hard.
you did great. But I was telling Lori, I've figured out a lot of these things and have learned a lot of these things by working on myself. If you start to get sore, feel where it's sore, but let your fingers wander. Because you might start, like, you might have a headache, and I've done this before. You have a headache, and you're like, oh, and it's kind of a little tender. You're like, man, that is just, and like, before you know it, you're like up underneath your armpit, because as you move, that sensation moves, and when you're done, I mean, I've dealt with headaches back here by finding that little point at the very end of my shoulder, because it's maybe the belly of the muscle here, but when I really follow that pain, when I really follow that sensation, I find myself at its attachment point, or I find myself up underneath the shoulder or something like that.
You never see people rubbing on themselves like that.
Yeah. If you could see me in the car, it's hilarious. And people are like, what is she doing? But your bodies are like other people's bodies. As different as we are, when you find... Yeah, right? Oh, all the time, because my chest hurts all the time, so I'm always like...
Question like that. After I had Jeremiah, I was engorged.